Right, let's get moving and lubricated with something fine from the Christmas trolley. What have you selected for us, Suze?
Well, I've gone for something, I don't know, Matt will probably call it controversial, a peppermint hot chocolate.
Oh.
No alcohol, but if you wanted to, you could, put maybe some amaretto or maybe some rum in it, which would then make it boozy.
Okay, his face lit up.
Yeah, I thought so. But a peppermint hot chocolate on itself is very tasty and very Christmassy. It's like candy canes.
Candy canes. Okay, all right, very good. Okay, thank you. You're expanding our palate, which is a very lovely thing. So here we go. We got another festive confession. Thank you for all the ones that came in over the weekend. Today's comes from Terry. There's another smart speaker, by the way. This one's going out for Terry. And also the podcast, don't forget, landed with you on Friday. You can subscribe and everything will be yours. And it's a very beautiful thing. Terry says, Simon, Matt the Magnificent, Super Susie and the Holiest Holly. For me, I need forgiveness, for I have sinned in a matter most devious. This tale hails from the days when Walkmans were the pinnacle of cutting-edge technology.
Wow.
And computer games came on cassettes.
Yes, they did.
I was but a young lad, awash with pre-Christmas excitement and mischief. Even Father Simon must remember that.
even you.
Thanks, Terry.
Yeah.
That year, I had asked for a Walkman with the marvel of auto reverse.
Oh, yes.
While my brother had requested Total Eclipse, the sequel to Driller, one of the very first 3D games.
Wow.
Did you play this?
I don't remember that, no.
Well, Terry says, I love Driller, set in the far future, where the human race has abandoned Earth for outer space, specifically Evath, which is their new home. Evath, which is quite similar to Earth, but just with a V in there.
Typo.
A ship called Exodus is sent to colonize the planet, and the game needs you to maneuver the excavation probe through 18 regions of the moon and place a drilling rig in each of them.
So there's a driller.
That sounds like your kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was super cool, and you get the idea. I was quietly seething that my brother, who lacked both the passion and skill for gaming, had claimed this sequel as his own. I knew he would never let me near it. One evening, while our parents were out valiantly fulfilling their civic duty to keep the bar at the local pub firmly propped up, temptation overwhelmed me. Armed with the precision of a master thief, or more accurately, a model-making scalpel, I embarked on an audacious act of present peeking. With surgical precision, I carefully sliced the tape, sealing my gift. The thrill of discovery hit me as I unveiled my new shiny Walkman, complete with the futuristic marvel of auto reverse.
Oh, yes.
Once satisfied with my glimpse into the future of portable music, I resealed the package so expertly you'd swear it had never been touched. But my descent into festive villainy didn't stop there. Total Eclipse, my brother's gift, sat tantalizingly next to mine. It was, as I'm sure you appreciate, Father Simon, too much to resist. Employing the same scalpel, I executed another perfect operation, even managing to open the cassette case without leaving a trace. Liberating the game, I rushed to my trusty high-speed dubbing recorder, creating a perfect duplicate of the tape. Because you can do that.
You could do that.
Back in the day.
Frowned on, but anyway, yeah.
For the day, almost certainly illegal. Don't try this at home.
No.
For the days leading up to Christmas, I reveled in playing Total Eclipse while my brother remained none the wiser. Ha-ha! I flew my ship over planetary surfaces and through tunnels. The exit of the tunnel always appeared late, and if you're not careful, you miss a power-up.
Okay, power-up. We don't want to miss that.
You don't want to miss that.
Don't want to miss that.
Nope.
No.
I was able to upgrade all my weapons and send bombs to destroy my enemies. Happy Christmas, everybody.
Wow.
And I destroyed their installations. Happy New Year.
The installations as well.
Yes, once I was done, I returned the game to its pristine state and nestled it back under the tree. I confessed this crime with a heavy heart, seeking absolution from my long-suffering parents and my unsuspecting brother, who, to this day, remains unaware that I had robbed him of the chance to be the first to explore that game. I throw myself on your mercy, even though I struggle to forgive myself for the depths of my seasonal skullduggery. Thank you very much indeed, orchestra.
Yeah.
That's nicely done. Okay, Terry needs some forgiveness. A lot will depend on where you are in the family pecking order, brothers, sisters, and so on. A lot of people will have done similar deeds, I suspect. Sister Susie, what do you say to Terry?
Well, I was with Terry for quite a while with that. I had a ZX Spectrum when I was younger. We used to play quite a few games on that, which was quite fun. Took me back to Manic Miner days and Chucky Egg, which was very good. But I don't care how clever you think you are and how precisely you cut that with a scalpel. Your parents definitely could have been able to tell that you've been rustling in those
Depending
presents.
on how long they'd spent at the bar.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point.
It may be very true, but I just think you went a bit too far. You didn't just peek. You took them out and played with them, and for that reason, I can't forgive you. Wait till Christmas for your presents.
Actually, when you think about it, Terry's parents might have been down Susie's pub, so therefore maybe they were just helping.
They could have been, couldn't
That's
they?
helping the local economy. What do you say, Brother Matthew?
Well, I am struggling to see what he's done wrong here. I mean, did he steal the game from his brother? No, he didn't.
Borrowed.
Did he steal the experience from his brother? Because the brother still played the game and enjoyed the game, so nothing, no problem there. I would probably venture that if you can complete a game in one night, not much of a game, really, if you can get it all done in one night. So I'm probably going to say forgiven, really, because, no harm, no foul.
What about copyright?
Copyright, obviously, home taping is killing music, kids, and computer games. When you could still do that, you can't do that anymore. So for that reason, I'm going to forgive.
Okay, people's verdict, please. 61054. First word is Simon. But before we proceed any further, just before the news, we had a confession from Terry. A story of Christmas envy and how he broke into the Christmas pile, first of all, to check his Walkman, secondly, to nick his brother's computer game, which he then copied on a cassette because that's the way it worked back in the 80s. His brother, to this day, does not know that his other brother was well up to date on Total Eclipse, the sequel to Driller. Something for you to check out when you get home. The people's verdict is in. Here it comes.
Gotta forgive this, says Ricky Imbued. I sneakily played with my Game Boy before it had been given to me for Christmas. It's just so tempting when it's sat under the tree.
But it's spoiling the pleasure. You have to wait for these pleasures.
Janet in Edinburgh agrees, says not forgiven. What he did goes completely against the spirit of Christmas.
Yes.
You wait to open your presents on Christmas Day. It's not that difficult. But Mario says, forgiven. I caught my dad playing the Super Nintendo that he brought me for Christmas to make sure it worked. Did I care? No, because I got a Super Nintendo.
So that's someone called Mario playing the Super Nintendo. I suspect maybe he's changed his name. Anyway, otherwise it's a great story. So your confession, please, to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. Enough of that. Okay, so let's check in with it after a while.
Yeah.
With Michael singing, you need a drink.
Thanks, Michael.
Let's just check in with today's top drink selection from top producer Susie. What do you go for?
Milk stout with hazelnut, honeycomb, and chocolate. Tasty.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I just have the chocolate and the hazelnut?
It's, separately, probably. It's called Marshall and Creatures from Left Handed Giant. 6.9% though, so maybe just a little one.
Okay. All right. Something about milk stout that doesn't sound very inviting.
No, it's good for you.
Is it?
Yeah,
Tasty.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Today's confession, it's a festive confession, and it comes from someone who signed it Not Mother of the Year.
Oh, really?
Dear.
NMOTY, so Namotti.
Namotti.
That doesn't really work, does it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Not
I
Mother
like
of the Year. Do you like that one? Oh, okay. Father Simon, Sister Susie, Holy Holly, and Miraculous Matt.
Correct.
I am writing
Oh, dear.
my long overdue confession on the way to collect my firstborn after their first term at university. Whilst we cover the motorway network of the UK, we're catching up on your wonderful 5-star Confessions podcast.
5 stars.
Nice.
And once
5
again, my
stars.
children have reminded me of this story that I need to confess. 12 certificate. This harks back to a time when child 1 was 5, child 2 was 2, and child 3 was a mere twinkle in our eye. Like all parents of young children, especially those with a lot of energy. We enjoyed them so much during the day that we enjoyed that special time after they'd gone to bed,
Yes.
where we could reflect on their wonderful antics. Often at this time, we may have had a small sip of wine and may have had a small nibble of special chocolates between just the two of us whilst meditating over some mindless television. Always eager to be awake and enjoy every second of the day, my children have never really enjoyed sleep, and bedtime could take, well, a long time. Anyhow, finally, after a good solid hour of love you, go to bed, no, you don't need to paint your room, just sleep. No, sleep! We finally settled down to enjoy the few moments of adult time before we needed to sleep prior to being woken in the night and again at the crack of dawn. Finally, we sat down, grabbed a glass of wine, and husband reveals a secret. A festive Terry's chocolate orange. And the children were ignorant of its existence. This is parent chocolate and not for sharing. So husband sneaks the chocolate into the freezer for 15 minutes. A little trick. Whilst we tried to find the flaw under the mess, wipe off sticky marks from every surface and discover socks in unusual places. We were looking forward to this moment to sit down in silence, so I pour the wine and husband retrieves the slightly chilled chocolate, our favourite. We slump down in front of the television for those 20 minutes of bliss. We sit and husband performs the bash that leads to the chocolate splitting into sections.
Oh, yes.
Little crack, not loud, slightly muffled, but sadly enough to rouse a 5-year-old child, apparently asleep behind 2 closed doors and on a different floor. How does this happen? Just as we slip the first segment of this long-awaited chocolate into our mouths, the door flies open. Mum, Dad, what was that noise? I heard a noise. What noise? Go to bed, we mumbled through mouthfuls of chocolate. What's that smell? Smells like orange and chocolate. Sherlock's untired brain cell was wiring. Oh, chocolate orange, can I have some? No! We yelled together, spraying chocolate over said child. Why not? Said the child, interrogating us. Because you are allergic to them.
Oh!
That's why we're eating it well away from you.
Yeah.
We don't want you to have a reaction. Hopefully I can wipe the crumbs off, or we'll have to shower you. Do you think you're okay? You can go back to bed. This child hates showers, so
Brilliant.
off they go back to bed. Now, this is where I was wrong. My child did have a few allergies and had reacted to various random items such as meringue, nuts and goats, some of which had actually required a hospital trip. But no harm was done on this occasion and the incident was forgotten about, and we carried on to enjoy our few moments of parenting respite. We fast forward 7 years. We have moved abroad to a country that did not have decent quality chocolate. This will be America, I imagine. So when we moved back, at no time in the period had said child even seen that orange-flavoured chocolate. And so we returned back to the UK. Child 1 is now 11 and starting at a UK senior school. During their first few weeks, they went on a welcome trip. At 11 p.m. on the first night, we receive a call from their new senior school checking if the child was in fact allergic to chocolate orange, as we hadn't explicitly listed it on the form, and if it was okay to administer the antihistamine that we have packed with them due to their other allergies, as they had accidentally eaten some, but the rest of the chocolates from the other kids had all been destroyed.
Destroyed?
Initially, I was confused, and then I remembered the comment I had made when being caught by a 5-year-old child eating chocolate. And here I confessed to the school that it was in fact okay and no EpiPen was required, but it was a lie that I had told over 7 years before. And so I need to request forgiveness from the teacher responsible for health and safety on this residential, the other students who had their delicious chocolates removed for the safety of my child and destroyed, my child for confusing them about the actual allergies that they do suffer from and forgetting they have a memory like an elephant. Also, to anyone suffering from allergies, we shouldn't lie about these things. Should anyone else be put in a similar predicament with a child, I implore you, do not say you're allergic, simply say it's spicy. If only I'd said it's spicy, we'd have never had to share chocolate ever again. And we would not have worried our own child and others. Blessed children. Please forgive me and my poor judgment in a time of crisis. Yours, not the mother of the year, but I suspect a lot of people will sympathise. But anyway, it falls to Sister Susie to take the responsible position.
Yeah, it does. And I probably shouldn't forgive because, danger, allergies and all of that. However, she's a mum and it's Christmas. And you know what? Having that time once they go to bed, if they ever do go to bed, is precious. And I probably would have done the same. And it's Christmas. So I'm going to forgive the mother.
Okay. Well, that's taken an interesting turn. Brother Matthew.
Yes, I'm definitely going to forgive. I mean, it's obviously it's a shame about all the other kids having their chocolate destroyed yes. because he thinks he's allergic to chocolate orange. But yeah, no, and it was a genius move as well. Why should you have to share your chocolate orange with him? Should be in bed. Make him allergic to chocolate. Make teenagers allergic to phones. Allergic to one-word answers when you ask how your day's been. Yes, all of that forgiven for no reason.
Said with feeling.
Boy.
Okay, it's the people's verdict, please. Do you forgive not the mother of the year? 61054. First word is Simon. But first, reaction to today's confession, which came from not the mother of the year, and a tale about how she and her husband were trying to enjoy some adult chocolate time.
Yes, hello.
The chocolate orange. And when the 5-year-old turned up, said, no, you can't share because you are allergic to them, just making that up. This then came back to haunt them 7 years later when he was on his first residential at a UK senior school. Meantime, the people's verdict is in.
Overwhelmingly forgiven tonight. Donna in Lowestoft, you have to forgive this lady. It was her, Terry's chocolate orange, not his. Sounds like an amazing excuse. I should use that one myself. Richard, forgiven. Coming from someone who told his daughter that a Scotch egg was their dad's medicine, I think I have to forgive this one. Elaine in Belfast, totally forgiven. I've lied to my kids to get that 20 minutes of adult time. Totally brilliant. And Drick says, I certainly forgive. I told my oldest daughter she was allergic to boys. She asked me what will happen to her if she touches a boy, and I told her she'll swell up.
But in general, as not the mother of the year said, particularly with food, don't say you're allergic. Say it's just too spicy. So maybe with the boys, the boys
They're just
don't
too
touch
spicy?
them. They're just too spicy. 5:47, Greatest Hits Radio. Time for a Christmas ale or a festive drink or a hearty lime soda or something. What are you serving, Suze?
How about a nice ruby port?
Okay, I'm not too sure about port. Should I like that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's an excellent Christmas drink.
Excellent. Okay. Fine. What kind of manufacturer should I look for?
Tailors do a nice one, but yeah, you can get. They're all over the place.
Okay. Could I have a bitter lemon?
Yeah.
You can have a bitter lemon.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks very much. Today's confession, 12 certificate, comes from Elizabeth.
Oh dear.
I know, you're quite right. Simon, ever forgiving Matt and the Sister of Mercy, Susie, or maybe it's Holly. This incident happened at Christmas time 35 years ago to the day.
To the day?
Yes.
Wow.
I worked with a young chap, let's call him Kevin, for a couple of years. This was Kevin's first job since leaving school. Work was a government-led facility, and they were very good, always encouraging further education, so Kevin had taken advantage of this. The time this incident happened, Kevin had worked very hard and had just finished his OND, Ordinary National Diploma. He's since carried on to complete his HND and subsequently a degree. He was very sweet, very studious, and loved his family very much. He was also learning to drive at the time. He had also, because he'd been working very, very hard, never had a girlfriend, never had a date, never had a kiss under the mistletoe, and we all liked Kevin. So 35 years ago, the gods aligned. Kevin's 21st was fast approaching the 18th of December. Checks watch. Yes. So we wanted to make his birthday a bit special. He'd also, at his third attempt, passed his driving test just before his birthday. He passed his driving test and was super proud of his new Metro car. He lovingly vacuumed, washed and polished it every week. Every day we heard every little detail of his journey to work and the previous night's journey home. You would think no one had driven home before, so we got everything. Every braking procedure, every right and left turn, every acceleration. How he loved his car and his family very much. Following his OND completion, Kevin interviewed for and was successful for promotion, moving on to a different area of the business. So his date to leave us was Friday the 18th of December.
Oh.
The anniversary today, his birthday.
Oh, right. So he's leaving on his birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his new role was starting in the new year. Fell very nicely for all of us too, last working day of the year. Christmas break was looming. He was very proud of himself, and rightly so. He'd done very well. We had a collection, bought a nice gift, and arranged for a lunch at the local pub to celebrate his promotion and his birthday and his imminent new role. Kevin's mum dropped him off at work so he could have a drink to properly celebrate his birthday, his achievements, and let the festive season commence. Friday comes, we all finish early, Christmas around the corner, and off we go to the pub. And a merry festive time is had by all. Festive ales are consumed. Boy, are they strong. Those monks were onto something, I think.
Yes.
Is that Trappist ale, isn't
Yes,
it? Like
it is. Yeah.
14.5% or something.
Start your car.
Then all of a sudden, in walks a police officer. "I'm looking for a Mr. Kevin Smith," she shouts. He immediately looks very worried. "He's over here," we all say, pointing at poor Kevin. She then proceeds to tell him how there had been an incident and his beloved little car was no more. She says his Metro had been stolen that morning and, in the icy conditions, had been involved in a single vehicle accident and driven off the road. It was now completely written off. This was obviously very shocking to everyone. What was very odd, however, was that the policewoman, who was quite glamorous, seemed at this point to become too hot.
Oh dear.
I hadn't noticed this, to be honest, but it
Right.
seemed as though she had overdressed for work.
Okay.
So she proceeded to rectify that mistake.
Yeah. No. No, we've all got it. Yeah.
She was also...
Whoa. She was also, go on.
She was also probably going to make some desserts later.
What?
She seemed very adept with a can of spray cream that she's brought with her.
Oh, good.
I actually hadn't seen squirty cream used like this before,
No.
but maybe your Nigel might find it interesting.
No, I don't think so.
Poor Kevin is really, really very red-faced and giggling non-stop. Well, we were all in fits of laughter, as was Kevin, even the barman, who seemed extremely interested in the whole event.
bet.
Good fun had been had by all and a memorable leaving do for sure. However, obviously, says Elizabeth, not my real name, I do seek forgiveness, not from Kevin, not from the barman or my work colleagues, but I seek forgiveness from the old couple who were sitting in the corner of the pub throughout the whole event. No doubt they were hoping for a nice, gentle Christmas lunch in this usually very quiet room. I have to say, the elderly gentleman kept sneaking a look across at Kevin and the police officer with a cheeky smirk on his face. However, his wife was absolutely furious with her husband and with us and with the barman and maybe even with Christmas itself. She wasn't happy. Anyway, I'd just like to add, Kevin is still working at the same facility, happily married and still laughing.
There you go.
There you go. So I wonder if that's like a victimless confession. I suppose the old couple, maybe the old lady was less than pleased. I'm interested to spray cream. I mean, who
Yes.
knew? Anyway, Sister Susie, I think we know what's going on there.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think the less said about that, the better. I think.
We have to support the police in their important work.
Yes, of course, very important to support the police. I'm not so sure that she was a police officer.
No, I
but,
see.
I
put it
think.
like that.
You know, very funny, Elizabeth. I do like it, but I in a pub, I wouldn't want that kind of thing happening in my constabulary. And no, just not forgiven.
35 years ago, this probably happened all the time, didn't it?
Yeah, it feels like a different time, doesn't it?
Yes.
That these kind of things happened in the pub. And also, why are the police tracking you down at the pub? That doesn't make any sense. They go to your house, wouldn't they? They're not coming to the pub where you're having your party and everyone's had a drink from the Trappist ales. But I'm going to forgive because, you know, it's Christmas. But not a massive fan of the squirty cream. Try and get that out of your clothing. So for all of those...
I think she was making some pudding.
Oh, she had lost all the clothing.
Hot chocolate, maybe.
So for all of those reasons, let's move on. Time to forgive.
Well, I mean, who knows what was going on there?
Who knows?
It's the people's
Who
verdict.
knows?
Please, do you forgive Elizabeth? On the text, please, 61054. But before we proceed into Peter Gabriel in just a moment, we had a confession from Elizabeth, not her real name, about Kevin, not his real name, who on his birthday and his last day on the job went for a Christmas ale on December the 18th, this very day 35 years ago, only to be told by an arriving policewoman that his car had been all smashed up. But then it turned out that she probably wasn't a policewoman,
No.
and she'd overdressed for the afternoon. And she got some spray cream for some reason. Anyway, the people's verdict is in. Here it comes.
Sue in Swansea says, not forgiven. If I was in that establishment and that had been going on, it would put me off ever going back there. You just sat there with a pint and a hot pot. You don't expect that kind of sauce. Tony
Where did the hot pot come into
Well,
it?
indeed. Tony in sunny South Wales says, forgiven. Poor Kevin. For my 21st birthday, I was working as a barman, and a very glamorous policewoman questioned me on various licensing laws in the pub. She also became overheated. Needless to say, I was terribly embarrassed, and the regulars thought it was hilarious. And finally, the Magster says, not forgiven. As a real police officer, it was an absolute pain when I had to go into pubs on official business, only to be greeted by get 'em off. Perhaps choose a person with a different profession to become overheated.
Do you think
I think
that
so.
was possible?
Yes. Yeah.
If you have a confession, we would love to hear it. Please get it to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. 5:46 and time for the drinks trolley, because frankly we deserve it. Hopefully it's a bitter lemon, but who knows. Check it in. Suze, what are you offering us today from the Saloon Bar?
I hope Matt will like this one. It's a pale ale, and it's called A Round of Applause.
Oh, yes. Pale ale
and it's
and a
also
pun.
it's a pale ale and a pun, and also they're donating money to Bath and Dogs and Cats Home as well when you buy it. So
Okay, very good.
all lovely all round.
But not a bitter lemon. Okay,
It's not
so
a bitter lemon.
today's confession, I have to tell you, it's a used certificate
Oh, right.
with a hint of PG, but it's very, very controversial.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Comes from
I
Vicky.
like
Father Simon, brother Matt, sister Susie, Holly and Katie.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I seek forgiveness for something that happened about 11 Christmases ago.
11.
A time when my
11.
children were younger and still living at home. A time when I used to go over the top with the boxes, the tubs, the tubes of biscuits, crisps, chocolate and sweets at Christmas. They were everywhere. Christmas is all about these delicious treats. Is there anything more Christmassy than eating a whole box of Maltesers at one sitting? Or tipping a whole packet of M&Ms into your mouth at once? I know Charles Dickens didn't write any of this, but I know he'd have destroyed a whole tube of hot and spicy Pringles if he'd had the chance.
Yes.
An interesting thought. So it's Christmas in our house once again, says Vicky. One of our family traditions is that once there are no presents under the tree left, I put all of the leftover confectionery under its drooping branches for everyone to pick at and use up. They look sad and forlorn, and nothing says December the 27th better than a discarded jumbo box of jelly babies. Now, here's the thing, Father Simon. As a family, that's myself and 3 children, we do not like the yellow or green sweets in anything. Yellow or green anything is beyond the pale. Fruit gums, sherbet pips, wine gums, fruit jellies, starburst, you name it. If it's yellow or green, we say no thank you. Is that really lime flavour? Is it heck? Is the yellow one even slightly lemony? No. Begone foul confectionery.
Okay.
You get the picture?
Yeah.
I have raised my family well, and we all agree on the basics of Christmas. So once the good ones, obviously the black and red, filled as they are with real black currants and proper strawberries, once they're gone, then begrudgingly the orange, the yellow and the green are destined for the compost bin. We know that you shouldn't do that, but we do, and that's just the way of the world. This Christmas, 11 years ago, the box of jelly babies, only yellow and green left, sat waiting to go in the bin. All the decent flavours are gone, with just the rubbish left behind. My mum and brother Adam came round for a festive chat, and after making them a cup of tea, I pointed at the pathetic leftover sweets. And brother Adam says, "Oh, I'll have them." And I just sat there as he scooped up all the remaining jelly babies, 20 or so of them, and stuffed them in his fat face. Nearly a year later, coming back from our nan's funeral,
Right, there's a change of gear. Goodness me.
I confessed this to my brother, that my youngest child, Isaac, who was 8 at the time, had gone through the jumbo box of jelly babies and sucked the sugar off the yellow and the green jelly babies, every single one of them, and put them back in the box, 20 or so, as you might remember. As I said, I have confessed that to him, although I didn't mention that he had ulcers at the time. But I do seek forgiveness from Adam, because to this day he will not eat anything at my house that is already open.
I don't think I would either.
He brings his own food. He even brings his own tea bags. I await your verdict. You can imagine that if 8-year-old Isaac has sucked all the sugar off the yellow and green jelly babies, which, can I just say, they are the best ones aside from the black jelly babies. The yellow and the green are fantastic.
I mean, yeah.
They're the ones that you should have. So,
Yeah.
Vicky, you clearly got everything completely wrong there. But I'm kind of on Adam's side. I think I would be with Adam. Anyway, Sister Susie, what do you say?
Yeah, I think I'm on Adam's side here. I really like the yellow and green ones to start. They're the ones I go for first.
Yes.
Like the citrusy, yellow, green, orange. I'm not that fussed about the red and black ones, really. They can stay in there. But, eating sweets that someone else has licked, that's disgusting.
Not just licked, but sucked clean of the sugar.
Wouldn't he have noticed, though? Shouldn't he have noticed that, hang on, these jelly babies look a bit odd. They've not got
Is
the
that
normal
saliva
powdery
that I
sugar
can see on it? A little bit of ulcer.
I think I would take my own food to Vicky's house as well.
Yes.
And if she knew her children had sucked the jelly babies dry, then she should have put them in the bin where they belong. And because she didn't do that,
Yes.
I can't forgive her.
Of course not. That's no forgiveness from the pub. Brother Matthew.
I'm going to forgive, because obviously it's Isaac's fault, isn't it? Isaac shouldn't be sucking the jelly babies free of all the sugar, but Isaac's not up before the beak, is he?
But Vicky should have said, "Oi, brother."
Well, and also I'm pretty. I don't really discriminate when it comes to the jelly. I'll have any of them, frankly. Any sugar at
No
all
surprise.
at Christmas. Anything is going straight in my mouth for the next 2 weeks. Oh yes. So yellow, green, black or brown, I don't care. So for that reason, I'm going to forgive.
The red and the orange, though, really?
The red and the orange, all of them, yes.
Okay.
One big handful.
All right, that's a very strange kind of attitude.
Okay.
In your freezing cold house. Anyway, and the rigid
towels.
towels.
Yeah, Bridget Towel.
Okay, people's verdict, please do you forgive Vicky? 61054. So today's confession came from Vicky and was basically about her son Isaac, who at Christmas sucked all of the green and yellow jelly babies until they were free of sugar, put them back in the box, and then let brother Adam eat them all.
Yes.
So it's a fairly disgusting thing. Plus, also, there is nothing wrong with the green and yellow jelly babies. In fact, they are the finest. Anyway, so it's all pretty revolting, and Vicky is waiting for the people's verdict. Here we go.
So not forgiven, says Samantha in Cardiff. Who puts gross jelly babies back in the packet? They should have been in the bin where they belonged. But Jules in Manchester says forgiven. What is wrong with the pub lady? Suze. How can you not like the red and black ones? And that's from a City fan. Kiss, kiss. And Deirdre says not forgiven. Simon, I used to tell my kids that green sweets were poisonous to children because they were the only ones I liked. Who am I to judge someone for not mentioning that the sweets were pre-licked?
Yeah, okay, well, that's a fair point, and maybe that's made you think of a confession you can share with us for the new year. Send it to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk.